order, then becomes the chairman of the particular meeting that the mayor is absent.
I
So-
nominate Beth.
That's
All right.
Is there a
Get it
second?
done.
Third.
Okay, I know. Yeah.
I guess it'd be roll call.
Yes, hold on. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Fill it out myself.
All right.
Okay. All right, roll call. Scott Murphy is absent. Rick Weber is absent. Greg?
Here.
Okay. Rose? Here. Chris?
Here.
Susan?
I'm here.
And myself here.
We have one set of minutes for us this evening that would be of the meeting of Tuesday, July 5th, 2022. I believe you all received those soon after the last meeting. Do you have any additions or corrections?
Yep.
Common consent?
Yes.
All right, persons before council. We do have scheduled this evening a public hearing on a proposed ordinance vacating, abandoning, and annulling that part of East Liberty Street not used for street purposes in the town of Bath, Logan County, West Virginia. And we do have Mr. Charles Trump here with us this evening to present that.
I'm happy to proceed, Mayor, but I would certainly defer and wait if there are other members of the public who wanted to address it first.
May I ask a question?
Yeah.
Do we need a pass around attendance sheet for public hearing?
Well, you know.
I don't know the answer to that.
I don't know if we have to either, but it wouldn't be a bad idea.
You wanna write public hearing on there? And if y'all would sign your name, please.
From any members of the audience here to speak to this issue with an opinion, an objection, a question?
If not, I'll be quick.
I know.
Thank you, Madam Acting Mayor and members of council. It's a great pleasure to be here again. Everybody on this council will remember this project, we'll call it project, started, I think, with the property owners adjoining this portion of Liberty Street some many months ago. And I actually started doing some work on deeds, but council, COUNSEL for the town of Bath, Mr. Gay thought that the appropriate way to do this would be to do it by an ordinance. And so I'm thinking that the council's already had a first reading of the ordinance. I don't know what that date was.
That was not the last meeting, it was the meeting before. It wasn't July the 5th, it was
It was a meeting in
the 21st.
So I have a copy of the ordinance here that has Cindy Bourne's plaque attached to it. So I'll just leave that here, you have it as well.
I think, yes.
I guess it'll need to ultimately, if it's adopted by the council, it'll need the signature of the mayor and the recorder. And then there's a place where you fill in the dates of the meetings at which it was underwent its two readings. But Mr. Gay felt, and I think he was correct, that there should be a public hearing that preceded final consideration of adoption of the ordinance. And it was not at the previous meeting, but at the meeting before that, the council set it to occur tonight. And we did advertise it in the Morgan Messenger twice. So I have And I'll tender this also, the newspaper certificate of publication, which, and I think council should keep that original as opposed to me, but that shows that they published it twice. Brief recap, because I think everybody remembers, we're dealing with a portion of East Liberty Street, which is at the top of the hill, where on paper anyway, and only on paper, it connects almost to, connects to Ewing Street, but right almost to Fairfax Street where it goes. It's never been opened as a road. There's never been a road constructed there. If you go up there and look at it now, you're going to see people's yards. It's just grass. And so the people on both sides of the road had asked that the town abandon it and convey it to them. And I think even before I got involved in this, there was some discussion or establishment and maybe even some payment prices that were determined. I think the council or the mayor worked with the county assessor to determine what would be the fair value for this street, which is only width of it is very narrow there. Yeah, and the Cindy Bourne, who's a local land surveyor, divided it into parcels, very small parcels, some as small as 31 1,000ths of an acre. So, yeah, 31 1,000ths of an acre, ranging up to a large one of 86 1,000ths of an acre, but that would be added on to the adjoining lots. And that plat, although it's harder to read because it's reduced in size, but that's a photocopy of our plat. So I'm here, I guess, as an advocate for adoption of the ordinance, and I'd be happy to entertain any questions that members of council may have.
Do you have any questions? No. We've been talking about this since last November and December. If there's any questions that are holding, I don't know what they might be.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems pretty clear cut.
Well, I'll take that as a cue to be quiet.
When you're winning, be quiet. Yes. Council, now, what would you like to do? We have this ordinance before us now, ordinance vacating, abandoning, and annulling that part of East Liberty Street not used for street purposes in the town of Bath, Morgan County, West Virginia. I think at this point, I'd be looking for a motion to accept this or reject it.
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. I can sign this, I could sign this, I suppose, but can you wait for this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
I think the mayor should sign it. I guess it'll go in the minutes that the council adopted it. And I don't, as your honor said, I think it's been percolating since November, December. So I think
It's been vetted.
waiting for the mayor to get back. I would like ultimately to have a photocopy of the ordinance, because I think what I'll do is attach a copy of that ordinance to each of the deeds. Had started some work on deeds, but I think the deeds ought to make reference to the ordinance that's now been adopted.
Sounds great. Okay,
All righty,
thank you.
thank you. By the way, I want to introduce, we have at least one of the members of the neighborhood who's
I
here.
see, yeah.
And so you all live in
Derek Dollar's old house.
Yeah, the Doral house?
Yeah.
Yes, I know Gary's house, sure.
So Mr. Durrell was, I hadn't met him before tonight. He lives here in the town and helps care for his parents who both live there as well.
Been there a long time, quite a few years now, so that's good, thank you.
20,
Congratulations.
I've been in the house with them for 20 years now.
Oh,
So
yeah.
they've been there, what, a
It's
year?
been a while,
1
yeah,
or 2 years before me, so.
yeah, so, no, it's nice, very nice, so I'm glad we could do that for you.
Yeah.
Tell them I said aye.
Will do.
Okay, anything else on that subject? We'll move on. We do have, persons before council, before I get into anything else, I think we may as well, address, some of these people's concerns that are here this evening. And my understanding is,
Can we turn the air conditioner off?
the recorder says to turn it on. Is that feature?
Oh, it is on.
It is on the page. She's asking me to turn it on.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been
Very good. Okay, we have a number of people here with us this evening, and my understanding is that it is concerning a letter that went out from Town Hall concerning a garbage pickup on the first block of North Washington Street to, I guess, property owners. I'm not sure who. And I do hate to say this evening, but we on council just received this letter just a couple days ago. We really had no idea what the letter said. We heard that there was some issues and something happening as far as garbage pickup in that area. But we on council didn't really have much to do with it and didn't see the letter. The mayor is not here this evening, neither is the Public Works Chairman, Rick Weber. I'm not sure if we can answer questions for you or really address the issue. I would like to refer this, of course, to the Public Works Committee. And I'm not even sure who is here that's on that committee. If anyone has anything that they want to say, if they want to address council, but as far as this group here, I'm not sure that we have answers for you for this issue this evening.
Okay, I'll start. We all got this, well, the commercial businesses got this letter. And it wasn't dated, so I wasn't sure, and it wasn't signed, it said Town of Bath. And it just said that there had been questions about numerous calls about garbage pickups. I have no idea who those calls were coming from. But it said that to be more efficient, the town was requesting that the businesses put their trash on the street at the appropriate days. But again, it didn't say what the appropriate days were, so that didn't mean anything to me. We have, behind my building, we have a room where we have been putting trash for 12 years, as long as I've been there. And the little pickup truck comes in and picks it up and takes it away. Well, now we're told that they have to, all the trash has to go out on the street at some point in time, which now I know. I asked Charlie, and he told me what days we have to put it on the street. And to me, it just didn't make any sense at all, because here we were keeping our trash secure, out of sight, out of reach of animals, which there certainly are numerous in town, as we now have our bear back. And so it just didn't make any sense to put all this trash out on the street. The pickup should be for the convenience, in my opinion, the pickup should be for the convenience of the person, of the business. Not because it may be more convenient for those picking up the trash for the town. So suddenly they decide that it's too inconvenient. I don't know what the reason was, because we didn't get a reason. And nobody here seemed to know anything about it, so I don't know where the letter just, manufactured itself.
Well, and I wish we sitting here have a better answer, but we basically don't, because we just got the letter and we
Well,
got it.
I will say, I did talk to Scott because I knew it was an issue. What I got from him is basically that this isn't a new ordinance. The ordinance has been in place since 2004. that requires that for trash pickup, trash be put on the sidewalk before 6 a.m. on the day of pickups, is my understanding of how it reads. And that they have only, according to Scott, they'd only been going behind the buildings to get the trash because of work that had been done on the sidewalks on Fairfax Street at some point, and they had continued to, that they had allowed, said, we'll go and pick it up behind the buildings, so that because of the work on the sidewalks, and that they just continued to let it work the way it was working, with them going back behind and getting the trash. And that I think the department's head of Public Works and the mayor decided that they wanted to go back to the way the policy is written, and under the ordinance is what I understand. And because their reasoning being that it was too much for the trash crew to have to go behind the buildings to pull out all of the trash, and that basically they felt that the customers could put the trash out like any other customers in terms of in other parts, regular customers. I mean, that's what the argument is, and so that's what I know is why they're doing it, is because the department decided because of they have limited issues with their crew, limitations, and it was getting to be burdensome to them, and so the department head coordinated with the mayor, and the mayor made an executive decision. So that's what I know.
Okay, well, we have been putting our trash out of sight
Yeah.
that I know of since 2011. I have been.
Yeah, it was
anyway.
at 12 years.
And to put the trash on the street before 6 o'clock in the morning means that it's going to have to be the night before. And you've got all kinds of people and things and stuff
Right.
out there. I think it's asking for a trash issue. I don't think they're all just going to be all nice and neat and lined up. And we did see where there was a huge line of trash out last week or whenever it was. So when I inquired about it, Jeffrey Wendell owns our building, so I asked him, and he said he got a hold of Stephanie Rebant, who is the property manager for our building, and she came to town hall and spoke with someone, and I don't know, Stephanie hasn't responded to me or Jeffrey, and so she spoke with someone and was told that we could cancel our trash pickup by the town and have a licensed scavenger pick it up. So Jeffrey said, that's what we're gonna do. And I said, fine, I'm putting my trash in the building or in the room, which is what we've been doing. So I canceled my trash with town, which is evidently one of the things that Susan's concerned with, is that we canceled it. But I'm not, and so my concern was that I was gonna get billed for it anyway, that I was gonna get billed by the scavenger and billed by the town. So I came and spoke with Sharon, and she said, no, that the town will not bill if you don't have to pick up the trash. But they're not gonna know what trash bags are mine and which ones are any of the apartments upstairs. I mean, they're not color coded or numbered or anything. So it just seemed that it created a mess.
I agree.
And, it used to be a very easy peasy thing. Now, how it happens behind the building is not my business. I know where I put my trash, and that's where I've been doing it. I think it's a bad idea to put trash out on the street the night before, the day before, and it's just gonna look crummy. And we're on Washington Street. I mean, this is what everybody passes when they come into town. So that's my first question. My second one is, for many years, when Streetscapes was going on, I was requesting that there be a trash receptacle put in between Mountain Laurel and the alleyway, because there was none. There used to be one in front of the theater, and now it's next to the theater. So as far as a visual goes, there's no trash receptacle. There was no trash receptacle between Mountain Laurel and the theater. So the town finally put one in, because every day I go and pick up coffee cups and trash and, bring it to somebody. So the town finally put one in. Well, then there was, Lori Hansroth had started, when she was still working with the chamber, had started a process of painting the trash receptacles so they didn't look like they do. And so somebody had called her from town and asked her to paint the one that was in front of Portals, which she did. Well, somehow, and I assume it's probably the town trash people, took the receptacle and turned it so that the hole where you would put the trash faced the street, which made no sense to me at all. The trash receptacles are for the convenience of the people walking. I mean, now it was facing the street so people could drive by and get their trash. So we turned it around so that it would be as it should be. Well, then it got turned back again. Then they didn't like what Lori had painted on the trash thing. And she had a smiley face, and she had flowers, and she had a rainbow. Well, somebody didn't like the rainbow, because I guess we can't have rainbows anymore. And so they spray painted that part of the receptacle. Well, now the receptacle is gone. It's gone. So there's no place to put trash between Mountain Laurel and the theater, except on the windowsills of the businesses that are right there. I don't know what happened to it. So that's my other question.
Last time I saw it, it was going past my neighborhood in Rodney's truck.
I don't
I don't
know that
know.
either. We can refer this, where
Question
that
for
went
them.
to Public Works also.
I mean, if they don't like the way it was painted, then paint it over, but put it back
Right.
and have it face the sidewalk, which is where it should be. So I went and looked at all the others, and they're either sideways, because the one that's next to the theater is parallel to Congress Street. That's where the hole is. So it would be for the pedestrians to throw their trash. And I think the one next to Mountain Laurel, is it facing the street? I don't think it is. I think it's parallel to Fairfax.
Sometimes it's facing the street and sometimes it's
They
facing.
turn it.
Yeah.
They constantly turn it.
Let's refer this to public.
Because,
Yeah, we're gonna refer this to Public Works.
Okay.
And I think that, if you're here on this issue, we don't have, we have the answers that Chris has given you. Other than that, we're pretty sorry to say we don't have any other answers.
And we will say that the Public Works is scheduled to meet on August 2nd before the next council meeting at 5 p.m.
So,
Here.
so.
Would it be then appropriate to just hold any questions or comments until then? Is that what you're suggesting?
I would say.
I think I
Yeah,
will
we're not
say-
doing very good at answering them right
I
now.
know,
Yeah.
we're sorry, like I said, this is huge. You got the letter way before we did, I'm put it that way, and the whole.
It wasn't confirmed with council.
Yeah, so, okay, are we done with this? I hope.
well, we don't have answers, so I don't, you
We
guys
don't
have,
have
And
answers.
it sounds like the third question is, why did it happen like that? Maximizing the confusion. So besides Barb's two questions.
No, there is
That one.
yeah. I mean, there are some cases where I guess there's executive decisions to be made at the mayor's level. And he thought
I know,
that
but I'm
was
just
one
saying,
for
make
him.
that a formal question, so somebody says, oops, or someone says,
No.
this is how we're doing it, or gee, next time we put date and signatures on the letter, and they make it clearer. It
Sure.
causes them a lot of problems.
Right.
Would it be okay for the benefit of my neighbors to just share a couple of things? Or do you want to move on?
Well, I think we need to move on,
You bet.
and I don't think that we have answers for you. So
Right.
I would, refer you to the solid waste committee or the public works committee that deals with all the solid waste issues.
Thank you.
That chairman is Rick, and I believe the mayor is on that committee too.
So you think by the next
Sure.
council meeting, we'll have answers?
I would hope, because I don't want to talk about this anymore. Then you all do. I'm gonna,
And we expect the mayor to be back for that meeting, and I don't know about Rick, but,
Yeah.
that's the one thing I don't know about.
Well, the Public Works is meeting at 5, so it's right before the town meeting.
Right.
So, okay.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Good to see you. Okay, communications from Mayor, what I have here is merely the ad hoc, ARPA implementation committee is going to meet on July 26th. Is that correct,
Yeah.
Chairman?
We'll be putting it on the agenda, but, yeah, just to look at where we are with that and with the funds that have been dispersed and potentially applying, what we can, ideas for applying for, with the additional funds available to us.
Okay. All right, I have on here also that there's going to be a chilled cocoa crawl on July the 22nd. Hometown holidays in Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. This is all I have on it. From 5 until 9. I don't know is there a sponsor for this? That we should-
Is it CBS?
No.
No, say,
It better not be.
no, anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I
5
guess
to
there's gonna be
9 and different people are, I know we're doing something.
Okay, all right then, all right, thank you. Well, I'm sure we'll be busy. Okay, I hope so. So, okay, thank you. We can move on now to, staff develop, the committees on board reports, staff development authority, is meeting on the, 3rd of August at 4:30. And they'll be at the Pines and or via Zoom at the Pines Opportunity Center. We also did receive an application for membership. I don't know if it's in our stack here, but someone has applied for membership to that board, and I guess maybe we can consider that at the next meeting since it wasn't on the, we didn't get it in time to put it on the agenda.
There was a volunteer application for the Landmark Commission that
Yeah,
I was
and
aware
that's-
about, but I wasn't sure about another.
I think the other one just came in
Straight.
email today.
Oh,
So
okay,
that-
so I might
yeah,
not have seen that
we
one.
just got that. So,
So we need to make sure that's on the agenda for
For
the
the
next
next one,
meeting.
yeah. I'll get it from Sharon.
And invite the.
all right, Parks and Rec, their next meeting is July the 20th. And, what they are, the event that they'll be discussing and that their big event right now is the 8th annual Morgan County Back to School Bash. The town, always makes a donation to that, and I believe this year we gave $300. And it's always a very good, well-attended event before school. So, and that probably is at the intermediate school or the intermediate school.
Yeah, it says intermediate.
Yeah, okay, all right, all right, great.
It's on August 12th, from 4 to 6.
For haircuts, the haircuts are 4 to 6.
Oh, yeah.
And then the supplies are
Oh,
5
here,
to
I
7.
see, yeah. I'm not used to going through this pile like this. So, all right, gotcha. All right. Planning Commission, yes, sir.
Planning Commission met last Thursday, 14 July for our monthly meeting. The work continues on the 5-year comprehensive plan. We're still conducting our weekly working group each Monday. The focus of the last one was the work that Mr. David O'Connell has been doing on the future projections based on age and the population of the town, and expanding it out to Berkeley Springs and some of the work in the county. We're fortunate to have him. He's actually a census guy and an analytics guy, so he's provided very good insight into any potential things that the town needs to be able to do in the future to take care of our population. That's all I have.
Thank you very much, thank you. Rail Trail, so we don't have Pete here, but they did turn in a, his report, which is, there's not a lot going on right now with it, it looks like. And I will say, as far as the trailhead, we are still waiting to hear from Senator Capito's office on the grant that the county put in for that trailhead lot. and all the improvements, bathrooms and everything there. Haven't heard yet, so we've got our fingers crossed on that. So we should hear back by the end of the summer on that. So,
Do you know if they're still going to be meeting on the 27th of June?
as far as I know, I don't know anything different from that. Streetscape, okay, he isn't here for that either. We do have a report that he has turned in. They're continuing with the planning and moving on to phase 5. Very detailed plans, and I suppose they'll be at the next meeting to explain a little further, but we do have the report in hand that's been turned in. The depot, I'm continuing to work with the depot, and the construction work is moving along nicely. I do have help, and Councilman Benny come down and walk through. The planning commission has been in attendance of owners meetings. We are not going to be having an owners meeting tomorrow because the construction manager of the project, his brother was killed in a car accident last night. So obviously, we're not meeting tomorrow. That's all. So, but we will be meeting at 10 a.m. the next Wednesday, and we go walk through the depot, and then we'll come up here discuss any details, finances, and things like that that are going on with the work down there. I'm continuing to work on finances with this and gather money and contacts for assistance with this. We're in pretty good shape with hotel motel funds. Senator Trump's office is working with us too on funds for this, so that we can be pretty well neat and complete. There's a lot of interest in the depot. We had a musician stop in just yesterday or the day before yesterday, who is new in the community, and he does a whole show around depots and train stations and trains. And so he wants to work there, and he wants to look for donations from the audience and split the donations with the depot. So we have a lot of ideas and a lot of things going on. The inside, we are trying to. It is a rehab project. However, we found we have been able to do more restoration than we thought we could do, and things that we've discovered. So we're thrilled with that, and it is moving along. So I'm happy to report that, and hope in the next few months we'll have an opening and be able to actually go in. And I can show you anytime you guys want to go in and see it. I'd be glad to take you in, or you can just stop in. The workers in there are all friendly, and they'll show you anything you want to see. Landmark Commission. What we had talked about and what I had turned in to you folks last meeting was something that I had written to help ordinance committee a little bit with an amendment to the ordinance, chapter 42 on historic preservation. What we needed to do, and we were advised by our attorney, and also I've been in talks with SHPO quite a bit in the last couple of weeks, is the membership, as the state code dictates, is 5, not 9. So we needed to amend the membership down to 5. Also, we believe that maybe changing the residency eligibility to either all residents must be from the town, or all members must be from the town of Bath to be eligible. Or when I did talk to SHPO about this, they were a little bit concerned about us being able to find people, all who are residents of the town of Bath and able and willing to serve on this board. So I looked down at a few other towns that also have certified local government status as to how they handle it. Shepherdstown, no, Harper's Ferry, it's 5 members, and they're all residents of the town. Shepherdstown is 5 members, with the majority as residents of Shepherdstown. Then I thought I would look at another town not in our area in West Virginia to see how they handled it. And I looked at Kenton, West Virginia. They have, it's all residents, and the residents must be taxpayers in the town, so they're property owners. So what I did, if you look at what I've given you, I did in a 1A, I did change the members to 5. And then B, I know I have 3 Bs, but I gave you options as to what you know may be workable for you. Now, and what I would advise and hope that we would do this evening is to pass this for a first reading in some form, so that by the next meeting, if there are questions, if there are changes, we are allowed to amend an ordinance between the first and second readings. What I have for the items for option for B is 1, the 5 members shall be appointed from the town of Bath residents. The second option B is the 5 members shall be appointed at a minimum of 3/5 from the town of Bath residents, with any remaining members being property owners of Bath whose principal residence is in Morgan County. And then I have another B as to if you have other ideas as to membership. We did talk about this in the finance committee because there is importance in getting this done and getting this committee back up and working, in that we are a certified local government, and in order to maintain that, we have to have a working historic landmarks commission, which is important. And so I would ask that, if you have any ideas, if the second read is good, or what you may think about this, that you may want to add to it.
I understand the desire to move quickly, to move quickly on this. I think a better process would be to refer this to ordinance for them to take up at their August 2nd meeting. I've looked at this. I think there are additional changes that do need to be made based on the state code and narrowing our ordinance. So I think there are places that additional changes can and should be made.
Okay.
I would recommend, again, referring it to ordinance, letting ordinance, basically, I would want to share a draft of ordinance of what I've put together. We can pass it out of ordinance and either put it forward for, usually what would happen is we give the rest of the council the opportunity to look at it before we would do anything else. So we would then, after the next meeting, share it with the council. And if there's no further comments on it, the first reading would be August 16th.
August 16th. Well, we talked about this in finance, and I don't know if that's acceptable. I would.
Why is it not acceptable?
Well, no, I said, I just asked.
Oh, no, I just asked.
Because we talked about,
I
well,
mean, is there,
I'd like to show
I know there's
progress.
time. Well, where it is progress, we've been referred to the ordinance committee,
Yeah.
and it's following the town's process and will be enacted and put in place and per that process.
What I would recommend is that we make a motion, or I'd like to make a motion to approve it for first reading contingent on, because we can amend it between first and second reading. So make a motion to approve for first reading contingent on the rest of council's approval, since it is time sensitive. In the next ordinance meeting, they could review it, and if it needs amended for second review, we can always postpone the second reading, right?
If the council, the second read could then would follow to be on the 16th.
And that just because it's time sensitive, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the first reading of this, and going with option B2.
So you're suggesting taking off the first B and the third B?
Yes. Just because it's, so that way we don't have an issue finding qualified applicants.
So you're,
And that gives us time for the ordinance committee to look at it. Also, we're not gonna be postponed with another month just between, because I don't want anything to happen with our historic, landmarks. Committee.
Well, there's nothing that keeps that committee from moving forward. There's an ordinance in place that it can go, there's nothing that keeps it from going forward.
Well, the law does need amended.
I agree.
Yeah.
But to say that it's all dependent on this getting done, it doesn't have to be that way. We want to get it done, but there's nothing stopping the Oregon Landmark Commission from moving forward.
Yeah, that's fine. But no, I just made a motion, so if we don't have a second, that's how we do what we
Do we have a
done.
second?
I'll second it. Because we can do exactly what you're saying, Chris,
No, that's,
without, and
Yeah.
still do the
you
first
still
reading.
follow, it still, leads to the same.
This just cuts down time on waiting an additional month. It's all it does.
It's been about a year.
Yeah, it's been a year. So,
All right, I'm gonna call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Rose?
Yeah.
Okay,
So,
thank you. Now, we do also have a volunteer applicant. This wasn't, it came in too late to get on the agenda. I think we did all get the application, and like this, I would like to say that it would be great that for us to have time to look over the application, maybe talk to her, invite her to the next meeting. We can do that. And I think people are ready to move forward with this. The applicant is Joyce Jones. And we could invite her then put this on the next meeting agenda. Also, we have, I was able to talk to Zach Salmon today. And he is more than willing to come back. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take him to the depot and talk some more to him Thursday morning. And he was on the old committee and said would be, I think he's ready to work as he can. I haven't been able to talk that much with Ryan Weedband about it. He was on the old committee also. I will make an effort to do that and see what he wants to do. So I'm glad we made some progress and we got some people interested. And I think they want to move forward. I don't have anything else with landmark commission. Clerk reporter, I don't have anything. Assistant clerk, do you have anything?
I do not.
Okay. Finance. You have those over there?
yes, I do. All right, so let's pay some bills then. I'd like to make a motion to pay the town of Bath bills in the amount of $16,653.84.
A second. All right, discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I'd like to make a motion to pay the Berkeley Springs Waterworks bills in the amount of $55,720.18.
Second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I would like to make a motion to pay the cemetery bill in the amount of $3,685.
Second. Discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There you are. Passed by a slim margin. Okay.
All right, and then I would like to make a motion to distribute the additional hotel motel funds in the amount of $29,437.37.
Second.
Question, I thought that, I understand that's the surplus, and how is it being dispersed?
That's what I was.
Yes, so we discussed that during the last finance committee, and that amount is going towards the additional funds needed for the depot.
All of it?
Yeah.
Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed?
I would like to make a motion to pay the rail trail bill in the amount of $8,472.50.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I would like to make a motion to pay the train depot bill in the amount of $86.07.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed? All right, thank you. Do you have anything further?
That's everything with finance.
Okay, tree board.
Board is meeting tomorrow.
And with Grant, nothing that we haven't already discussed, and we have the ad hoc committee coming up for ARPA funds, so that is really all we have for it.
Public safety.
Meeting for the chief.
Hey, chief. Yeah, you got it, okay.
Brianna, you wanna get him? Does he have anything?
You have anything to report that you wanna?
Where to start? Last Friday was deadline for applications. We have a total of 6 people. We're going forward with the physical agility test for 5. Hopefully we do interviews, and that way we kind of weed things down, so we're doing interviews, do PT tests, and not having anybody. They pass PT tests, and we'll have the interviews with public safety committee, mayor, and then we'll, whoever makes it past there, be set up for the psychological polygraphs. As mentioned before, it's going to be hard, and I'll tell council again, it's going to be hard to retain people. Especially with what we're starting out on certified, we're going to go down the road and start out at 15,000 more a year on certified. Also, we will be looking for a new part-time secretary. TSC turned put in her 2 weeks last week. Basically for the money to go work somewhere else and make more work in 2 or 3 days when she does a week here. So if anybody knows anybody would like to work part-time, probably Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So when I'm not here, or the week I'm not here, Thursday and Friday.
What's the
And
pay?
to be determined.
Well, somebody's leaving because it's not enough, so what is that person making?
They are making $12 an hour.
You're gonna raise it.
I don't know yet. But more likely we'll keep it right where we're at. Because we all have budgets that we have to go by, and we can't. Right now, my main concern is getting officers. I've been without a secretary for a while. Other than that, that's about it. My truck will be going in the shop here soon. Had a relay switch burn out, so I have no lights, no siren. Relay switch is available, but you can't get it. So that means they have to find a new relay switch or rewire it completely. It'll be out for a while and we'll be using that. Other than that, that's about it.
Anything further?
No, your report for the month is in your paperwork.
Okay, thank you. Cemetery.
The only thing I have to report, tonight is the process of annexing the Old English Cemetery is complete. So the town, not only owns the Old English Cemetery, it is actually in the town of Bath. So, that's good news. That process is finished. The next step we've talked about in the past is the small strip of land that the Willards have been using as a driveway. They would like to continue to use, or we have discussed selling them that land through the process of home rule, if the home rule board would approve that. Dick Day has made the suggestion of, instead of going through the home rule process, of actually doing an ordinance that would create an easement and then a legal document that would give the Willards or whoever owns the Willard property access to that easement for parking and minimal storage. So the Willards said they are interested in that option. And they are willing to undertake the legal fees to do that. So we're gonna make sure everybody's on the same page, and if that's the direction we want to move, then we will go forward with that process into how it did get. And that's all I have for tonight.
Public Works, here, or the chairman isn't here, I don't know if there's anything else that anyone on Public Works. Ordinance,
We have before the council a proposed ordinance, 2002-07-19, amending the Town of Bath ordinance 2002-03-15, requiring the use of Form LGR 1275 for the notification of building or real property improvement. Basically what this amendment would do is set the form out in two parts. And this would apply to any property owners in town who are making improvements of more than $1,000 in value to their property. The first part of the form is the form that basically everybody's required under state law to submit to the assessor's office when you're making improvements to your property, to notify them so that they can assess any changes in value in the property. The second part is just additional information for the town with regard to the project, and a signature, place for signature for the applicant to affirm that they understand and will adhere to the West Virginia Building Code as set out in Title 87, Series 4, the West Virginia Code of State Rules, in carrying out that work, and that they, their contractor, or anyone else working on the property improvement will fully adhere to those rules and implement the work. So I make a motion that this ordinance be approved for first reading.
I second. Okay, the only thing I would say, Chris, is I would take the email address off, and this is just a detail, and actually put the Town of Bath email address on there.
Okay.
For,
In terms of the actual thing.
Yeah, in terms of the actual form, and maybe the address of town, the physical address, that's the only thing that I would say.
Okay.
Okay, and I think this amendment is good, and it's also, just another step in clearing up, a lot of problems that we had earlier. And I do appreciate your work on this. What I did earlier was to just get that ball rolling.
And worked from that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
thank you.
Sure. So, okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. That's great, thank you.
And the next ordinance committee meeting will be Tuesday, the August 2nd at 4 p.m.
Waterworks?
Let's see. First of all, phase 4 replacement project continues to be on hold. Steve Buchanan from Thrasher said that our contractor is still waiting for parts in order to get that project started. And they will give us 2 weeks notice before they start the project, and have not yet done that. So we're still waiting. And the July meeting, which was going to be held tomorrow, is having to be canceled. And we will just plan to hold our August meeting on Monday, August 1st at 4:30.
Okay. All right.
That's all I have.
I just have one question. As far as the ordinance committee meetings, since there may be some public interest in the public attending that meeting, where is it held?
We've been holding them we've been in Sharon's office. So just
Okay,
inside the
Okay.
clerk's office, town clerk's office.
yeah. If people show up and they,
Yeah,
you know, we
they
can
can.
move out here.
Yeah, if we need more room.
All right,
Yep.
just wanted to clarify that.
Okay. Anything else? Come to the council? Okay, then we will adjourn, if it's everybody's wish, and common consent. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Let's put that sign.
I still want a little bit up top.
Yeah, I-